ankle mobility work.
Yeah, it's around that. Just as
Was
mobility,
it?
what they said. Yeah,
Close enough,
yeah,
yeah.
brilliant. All right, Car, you coming in?
Yeah, I guess just because of our listeners, and sometimes we have most of the time we have a lot of young listeners. University kind of want to have an understanding of how people get into the environment in terms of academy football in general. What was your kind of background? How did you get involved? Was it the traditional? How was it?
So I was fortunate enough to be able to do my work experience at West Ham when I was at school. I got lucky really in that I knew a member of the ground staff team that worked there. Managed to get on sort of my 2 week standard work experience at school. Just missed out on one sports scientist leaving and another starting, so it was in a little bit of jeopardy really. My first day sort of went in, and I think it was the new sports scientist's first day as well, and I think that almost worked in my favour because I was there as an extra pair of hands. He was sort of getting used to the new environment as well, so I got quite lucky in that I had a real good 2 weeks work experience doing all the stuff I'm sure you can imagine, the usual dog's body stuff, whether you're working in an office, a car garage, whether it's a football club. I was setting up the warm-ups, clearing the warm-ups away. First day, the manager had me clearing a bit of foxglove off the pitch because that's where he'd set up his keep ball and he hadn't seen it and he needed it moved. So doing all those little bits and pieces. But yeah, I was fortunate really from that. I got to sort of stick around in that environment, and sort of all my half terms and school holidays, I'd go in, and obviously wasn't getting paid, but was absolutely sort of loving being involved in a first team environment. Not that I was really delivering anything, but just being there day to day, making the drinks up, sort of watching the lads train and things like that was absolutely brilliant. So that obviously stood me in great stead. Off the back of that, I managed to get a role with the academy at West Ham as well. I was working mainly with sort of under 15 and 16 teams, and off the back of that, I was working with the ladies first team for a while as well. So yeah, that sort of inroad and being able to sort of volunteer some of my time as such, that look, at the time I was 16, 17, 18 and didn't see it as volunteering really. I was seeing it as getting to go into the club I supported and being around professional football, which is what I wanted to do for my career, and start to get a real good insight into sort of the world of sports science and strength and conditioning in professional football.
Yeah, not to cut across, but I mean, we always talk about that in terms of examples to when anybody asks us, we always say we volunteered as well. Nathan talks about volunteering when he first got involved in sort of a professional elite environment, and I volunteered first when I came into academy football for about a year. I think sometimes young people don't see that inroad in terms of volunteering. Others do. They do it in sort of a professional sort of way in terms of internship. But it's that sometimes I do feel like that people that want to get an inroad straight away want to get an inroad to a paid profession, which is understandable in terms of, you know what I mean, people have gone through their education, done university and stuff. But it's always refreshing to hear that people, you know what I mean, they started off by either volunteering or, do you know what, I just came in and watched people and watched. So it's quite good in terms of hearing that. I'm glad I didn't do my sort of volunteering. I was at Barrett's Shoe Shop for a little bit. So, yeah, I'm glad I didn't pursue that career. What was you? Did you study sports science at university?
Yeah, so sort of geared my A levels up to what I needed to study at university, and yeah, went and did a sports science degree at St Mary's over in Twickenham. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Nice. And did you ever have to go back, or did you ever have to sort of touch base in regards to support? I mean, what did you do in terms of your history?
In terms of, well, I was at uni in terms of working.
Yeah. When you was at uni.
Yeah, so obviously that was for me to go off and get the qualifications I needed, really, in terms of being able to then get a full-time paid job in the long run. I was doing bits and pieces at uni. I managed to get a placement at Charlton for a year, filming the under 16 and under 18 teams and doing more performance analysis. I did my dissertation on that as well, and being able to use obviously the coding from the games that I was doing there. I was doing sports coaching as well. So Saturday mornings used to do athletics coaching with kids. We used to do multi-sports camps in the half-term weeks as well. So any real opportunity I had to be able to sort of do some coaching and also sort of challenge myself in different sports as well. So the athletics coaching on a Saturday morning, like I'd never done any athletics. I was fortunate enough, I was paid to put through doing my sort of level 1 UKA, which gave me some sort of great base coaching ability, I guess, in terms of coaching young people. But yeah, sort of tried to keep my eye on when I was at university and do a few different bits and pieces. I was coaching from obviously the kids on a Saturday morning. By the time I was in my third year, I was coaching one of our university football teams as well. So I'd managed to get myself a real good experience with different age groups, boys, girls, males, females, and be able to get sort of a real good sort of armory to the amount of different people I was coaching in different environments as well.
Cool. A great questions coming here from Andrew. He's just finishing his university degree, and he's really interested in strength and conditioning. What would be the best course of action that you could possibly say for him to do now?
Definitely go and get some experience if you haven't already. Again, like I think Carlin said, whether that's any paid work that's out there, that's probably quite limited as a young coach. I think even when I was at uni, there was so many graduates coming out every year. I remember my first induction week. Well, bits of it I remember. We had a careers meeting on the first day. Coming to the sports science room. These are the people that graduated off your course last year, however many it was, and these are the percentage that are working in sports science. I think it's about 1%. It's such a competitive industry that, again, being able to sort of go out and have some experience on your CV, and as almost, I guess, a recruiter now, that we look for studentships, placements, internships, whatever you want to call them, that I think if a CV comes in and you're looking at somebody that's gone and sort of put themselves out there and got some experience and gone and done it off their own back, really. I think with some of the university degrees, you can do like a work placement module. I think people that can go out there either doing it that way or going out and sort of sorting your own experience out and showing sort of willingness. And again, those unpaid positions and internships or whatever you want to call them, that they're not only really great for your experience, but I think also reading off a CV as well, that if you've got some experience in the environment, then you're obviously further along than other people.
And Craig, is there a perfect time when to start looking for these roles? Because I know sometimes you can maybe go through different websites, but is there a specific time in the season where internships or placements come up?
I think naturally so for us now, going into the end of the season, hopefully at some point, we're quite proactive in what we're trying to do. Clubs will be looking over the off season, during pre-season. Obviously, if it's through a university as well, sometimes that holds place until September, October, when all the students have started back. But again, even throughout the course of the season, it can be quite a closed environment, football. But there's plenty of sports out there. There's plenty of clubs out there. There's so many local teams, and obviously at the moment nobody's really doing anything. But hopefully, when things get back to normal, that there'll be lower league clubs that have got no staff or no paid staff and are looking for an extra pair of hands. That, you know, that's great experience for somebody if they're willing to let you come, and whether it's watch sessions, whether it's come and get a little bit of practical experience as well. Then I know a lot of people that have sort of gone along to places and just sort of watching what's going on, get your foot in the door, and from there go and get jobs off the back of it, really.